all, I'm going to tell you the greatest story in all of history. You are about to hear the greatest story in all of history. Because what is about to happen right there in the Kasky School in Philadelphia is that I, Menachem Nissel, with my magical powers, I'm going to take you guys on a journey. So watch this. I don't know if you know this, but I happen to have this magical time machine. I also happen to have for each one of you invisibility cloaks given to me by J.K. Rowling's, and each one of you will put them on, and you will come inside my time machine, and I will take you back 3,336 years. And I'm going to take you into the middle of a wilderness, and we're going to find ourselves, can you guess, on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, on the year 2448, and we are going to arrive together as a group at Har Sinai with all of Klal Yisrael. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. We find ourselves, by chance, we're with Shevet Yehuda, because most of us come from Shevet Yehuda, and we're looking at our ancestors and we are joining them. It's for Chodesh Sivan. They're a little exhausted because they've been traveling for a while. The Cus come from a place called Rafidim, and everyone is relaxing, but they know that tomorrow there's going to be some insane announcements. And sure enough, Moshe Rabbeinu, the next day, this is a Monday, tells the Jewish people, okay, I just came up from God, and God is saying to me from Mount Sinai, I want the Jewish people to be my partners. I want you to be an Am Segula, a chosen nation. I want you to be a Mamleches Kohanim. I want you to be like Kohanim to the whole world. So what do you guys say? And everyone screams out, Nasa, let's do it. Okay. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up the mountain, goes to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and says they're saying yes. Kodesh Baruch Hu is so pleased. The next day is the Tuesday. Okay, so this is now Tuesday. We've been there for 2 days over here. And Moshe tells Klal Yisrael, okay, you have accepted this job. Now I want everybody to come closer and closer to the mountain. And you'll see there's like a line. You're not allowed to cross that line, but I want you to see the mountain up from close. And there we see this thing called the Arafel, the thick, magical cloud that Moshe Rabbeinu goes into every time he goes up to Hashem. And it's like dark, but at the same time, it's so beautiful. It's not a scary dark, but it's like a wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then Moshe Rabbeinu comes down on the Wednesday, and he says, okay, now we're getting closer to accepting the Torah. We are going to divide you, men on one side and women on the other side. Now, this is different from Pesach, when we accepted, we came out of Egypt as families, or Sukkot, where we're in the Sukkot as family. On Shavuos, we separate because men and women are different. Women is Kosoma lebeis Yaakov, v'sagid lebnei Yisrael. Ask your teachers to explain the different roles of men and women at Har Sinai and how it translates. Today, that men are the main people that study Talmud, and women are what's called the bias of Klal Yisrael. They nurture us from within and protect us from without. So each one has a different role. So at Har Sinai, we were different. And then Moshe Rabbeinu tells Klal Yisrael, and every time he speaks, he's got like this incredibly powerful voice, that all 3 million Jews can hear it, all the different tribes and the men and women separate. And they can hear Moshe Rabbeinu saying, we now have 3 days left of preparation. We have the rest of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but Shabbos morning, that's going to be the great event. Do you accept? Are you guys ready? And everyone screams out once again, Nasa. It's the second time that we said Nasa. The first time was more like conversion, like a gerus. We were becoming the Jewish people, but now we're ready to accept the Torah. And we work on ourselves, and we work on ourselves to become holier and holier and holier until our neshama starts to shine through. And then finally, it is now Shabbos morning. This is so incredible because now we are so excited. We can barely keep our eyes open. We barely slept that Friday night because we know this is going to be the most incredible moment in all history. The whole world has been waiting for this moment. 2,448 years. When Hashem says Yom Hashishi, it's for this moment. This is the 6th of Sivan. It's now being pushed off by a day to the 7th by Moshe Rabbeinu. And now the Arafel moves away. That thick darkness goes away. And suddenly you look up and you go, oh, I am such an elevated level. I'm like in a state of prophecy now. For the first time, you and every single Jew can see the highest of the highest worlds. We're looking up into the heavens. We can see beyond what even the angels can see. And guess what? At that moment then, every single question that every single Jew has ever had, for all the 210 years of slavery, all the tsaras and all the pain that Jews have gone through, every question is instantly gone. Everything suddenly makes so sense. We see with clarity, Anochi, we're seeing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's essence as much as a Jew can see. And then we suddenly realize that this is not just a moment with God. This is Hashem's wedding day. This is God's great wedding day. It's a chasana. It's a wedding day. Hashem is the chasan. He's the groom. And guess what? We're the bride. So here we are. Our neshamas are connecting to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, which makes sense because our neshamas comes from Hashem's breath. It's our tselem alakim, our vision of God. And Moshe Rabbeinu turns to us for one last time and says, Klal Yisrael, can we do this? But this time we say it differently. We don't just say Nasa. We say Nasa v'nishma. We're going to do everything Hashem says, but we want to understand it on a deep level. Some people say Nasa v'nishma was 2 days ago. Some people say it happened, the Ramban says it happened after the Aseret HaDibros. But be that as it may, we are now in an incredible high level. And then you look at your friends and you say, oh my gosh, there's like these 2 beams of light coming from their forehead. I don't know if you noticed, but I did this on purpose. That I have these lights. Does it look like on your screen that my forehead is shining? Well, you had those massive shining foreheads that look like crowns. The Nasa crown, the Nishma crown. And everyone's looking at you because you have it as well. And it's the coolest thing ever. And then we're finally ready, but not yet, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to make sure that you will never forget this until the end of time. Suddenly, boom, there's thunder. Boom, there's lightning. But it's not just regular thunder and lightning. We are on such a high level that we can see the thunder and we can hear the lightning. Let me say that slowly. We can see the thunder and we can hear the lightning, which means all our senses have fused together into this incredibly high level. And then it looks like the mountain is on fire. And you think this is the most incredible thing that could ever be, but it gets even better because HaKadosh Baruch Hu unleashes from the Garden of Eden the most beautiful smell. The smells of the Garden of Eden, almost as if the Garden of Eden has been transferred to Mount Sinai. And we see the mountain is filled with these gorgeous flowers. That's why we have flowers on Shavuos. Everything is so beautiful and so powerful and so heavy. And then finally, we're ready to hear HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, Anochi, I am HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And at that moment when he says Anochi, we are so in awe that we suddenly are together with Hashem, that our neshamas leave our bodies and we run back, and the angels have to take us and slowly bring us down and says, you're not finished yet. And Hashem says, Lo yet, there should be no other God besides you. And our neshamas leave our guf, and we run back, and the malachim have to bring us back one more time. At this point, we say, Moshe Rabbeinu, this is too much. And Moshe Rabbeinu says to Hashem, is it okay if the remaining 8 commandments you do through me? But Hashem says, I'm going to use your voice to project. And Hashem says to us, you should not say my name in vain, and you should keep Shabbos and honor your parents. And you cannot murder, and you cannot steal, and you cannot lo tirtzach le sinaf. You cannot have it could be misbehave with another person's wife, and you shouldn't give false testimony, and you shouldn't cover anything. And at that point, then every single one of the 613 mitzvahs, boom, have been put inside of our essence even before we learned them. And then it's over. And at that point, then, what do Jews do when the most incredible thing has happened in all of history? Jews want to eat. That's what we do. We love food. So the women say, okay, we got to celebrate. But they suddenly realize they can't. Because what are we going to do? We're going to make a smorgasbord. There's no fleischiks anymore. Because we have to shech the animal, and we have to make sure that the milk and the pots are now kosher because meat and milk has been mixed together. The women are geniuses. They make a milchiks meal, which is why we do milchiks on Shavuos, because that was the quickest meal to make. And they grabbed that moment, and they had this incredible milchiks meal. Then Moshe Rabbeinu comes down and says, Klal Yisrael, let me teach you Parshas Mishpatim. Let's spend the rest of the day enjoying our cheesecake, enjoying our blintzes, but learning Hashem's Torah Parshas Mishpatim. And that is when you and I come flying back, and you're back in your classroom in Philadelphia, back in your classroom in Kasky, and once again, Menachem Nitzel's back on the screen, and then he says, remember our monkey friend? Hi, everybody. I told you there'd be a message. You are a monkey, meaning the whole world lives like everybody else, but we need a different type of oxygen. We can't breathe that air in a plane like everyone else is breathing, filled with whatever is going through, filled with all that germs and diseases. A monkey needs that clean oxygen when he's up there. Klal Yisrael need a different type of a thing. So I'm giving you 3 messages. And those 3 messages I want you to remember for the rest of your life. Number 1, you're different. Rabbi Nissel called me a monkey. You're living a different life. Number 2, when you study Torah from your teachers, embrace it, because you have a connection to this incredible event called Har Sinai that takes us to Mashiach and beyond. And number 3, learn from the women at Har Sinai. When you see an opportunity, seize the moment, carpe diem, and bring it down into something powerful, like cheesecake, yum, like milkshake ice cream, yum, something that you can really get yourself into. But always look for opportunities to take the world of ruchnius, the world of spirituality, the Torah that you study, and to anchor it into something real, into the real world, and make the world into a better place. And that way, young men and young women like yourselves will be able to take the marriage that began at Har Sinai and bring it to its final conclusion. When all the wars are over with, and all the nations of the world look at the Jewish people for inspiration, and everyone realizes that we are the only ones that keep the truth in this world, and will greet the Melech HaMashiach together here in Yerushalayim, Hier HaKodesh. Thank you so much for listening. You are the sweetest young men and young women. It's such an honor to teach you. And thank you for being such a wonderful audience.